I have to be honest with you right out of the gate here. When I see the topic affirmations come up, my brain immediately goes to a very specific and frankly kind of annoying place.
I think I can guess where you're going. Is it like the discount home decor aisle?
It is exactly the discount home decor aisle. I'm picturing those wooden signs, the ones with the peeling paint that say live, laugh, love,
Yeah.
and that
Oh,
swirly font.
oh, yeah. Or good vibes only.
Good vibes only, yes.
Ugh.
But it just feels, I don't know, shallow. Like it's a little cheesy, but it also feels a little dismissive of how hard life actually is.
Hmm.
It feels like a sticker you put over a check engine light to pretend the car isn't.
Isn't broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the skepticism we need today. Because you're not wrong. For a lot of people, that whole concept has been completely hijacked by toxic positivity.
Right. This idea that if you just smile hard enough, everything will be fine.
Exactly. And that reaction is why I'm so excited about the source material for this deep dive. We're looking at the architecture of affirmations.
See, that title alone got me off guard. Architecture sounds structural. It implies a blueprint, engineering, not a wish.
Spot on. And that's the core premise here, that affirmations aren't magic spells. They aren't just, polite wishes you make to the universe.
I hope it hears you.
The source defines them as specific tools for conscious mental alignment.
Okay, so we're moving away from the woo-woo and more into the how-to.
We are stripping away the fluff entirely. The mission today is to look at the mechanics, the actual nuts and bolts of how these statements can reshape your nervous system, your thought pattern.
Oh.
And maybe most importantly, and I think this is where your skepticism will feel really validated, we're going to look at why they so often fail. Because they do. They fail a lot.
Oh, I love that we're starting with the failure modes.
Ah.
But let's look under the hood first. If it's not magic, what is it actually doing? The source jumps straight into the science, specifically neuroplasticity.
Right. This is the scientific backbone of the entire discussion. You really can't understand affirmations without understanding how the brain handles repetition.
It's all about habits.
It is. The source explains that the human brain is, at its core, an efficiency machine. It wants to save energy, so it forms habits of thought. It takes shortcuts.
I've heard this described like a hiking trail in the woods. The first time you walk through, it's hard, you're hacking through grass, but if you walk that same path every day.
Eventually, it becomes a smooth, packed-down trail. That's the perfect analogy for neuroplasticity. The source points out that negative self-talk creates a really deep rut, a superhighway in the brain.
So if you're constantly thinking, I always mess things up, or I'm not good enough.
Those aren't just passing thoughts. They are becoming structural. They're becoming your default setting,
That's actually terrifying. It implies we are accidentally programming ourselves to fail just by running the same script over and over again.
It is a bit daunting, but if you flip it over, that's also where the power is. Because if the brain is plastic, if it's malleable, it can change.
And this is where affirmations come in.
Right. The source explains that they function by interrupting those established patterns.
But it's not an eraser, is it? I can't just say, I'm great, and delete 20 years of thinking I suck.
No, absolutely not. And the text is very clear on that. You don't instantly erase the old belief. You are essentially hacking a new path through the overgrown grass right next to that old highway.
And over time, if you walk the new path enough,
the old highway starts to grow over from disuse. You're building an alternative.
So it's less about manifesting something and more about literally rewiring the hardware of my brain to stop defaulting to self-criticism.
It's manual labor for your neurons. It's about reducing the dominance of those harmful thought loops.
Okay, so I get the brain part.
Yeah.
Repetitive strain, but for your thoughts. But here's where it got really interesting for me, because the source takes this a step further. It's not just a head game.
The nervous system connection, this is where most people get it wrong. They treat affirmations like they're just, data entry.
Just type in the code and the computer updates. But we aren't computers. We're meat sacks with anxiety.
We are indeed. And this is a critical distinction that separates the live, laugh, love stuff from the actual clinical application. Affirmations are physiological.
Meaning they work in the body.
Yes. The source emphasizes they work best when they're paired with physical actions. Things like calm breathing, grounding yourself, or even just gentle movement.
Why does that part matter so much?
Yeah.
If I'm rewiring my brain, can't I just think the thought?
Well, think about what happens when you're stressed. What's your body doing?
Oh, shoulders are up to my ears, jaw is clenched, shallow breathing. My heart's probably racing. I'm basically ready to fight a bear.
Exactly. You're in fight or flight. Your body is screaming danger. If you just throw a positive sentence at that physical state,
It's going to bounce right off.
it's like a pebble hitting a tank.
Yeah.
Your body overrides the thought because its first job is survival. So the body is yelling, "We are dying," and the brain is whispering, "I am happy,"
The
and
body wins every time.
every single time.
Yeah.
But if you combine the statement with a physical release, like a deep exhale or dropping your shoulders, you send a bottom-up signal of safety to your nervous system.
You have to convince the body it's safe enough to even listen.
You're doing a two-pronged attack. The mind says the words, and the body confirms them.
That makes so much sense.
The source gives a great example. "I am safe right now." If you say that while you're hyperventilating, your brain will just say, "No, look at the data, we're panicking."
Right.
But if you say, "I am safe right now," while consciously slowing your exhale, you're actually activating a physiological shift. You're telling your body to move out of that fight or flight state.
It stops being a cheer-up phrase and becomes a regulation tool.
Correct. It becomes a tool for trauma-informed practice. It's not everything is perfect forever. It's right now, in this second, I am okay.
That feels so much more manageable. But speaking of things landing, this brings us to what was honestly the biggest aha moment for me in the text.
I have a feeling I know what's coming. The backfire effect.
The backfire effect. The idea that affirmations can actually make you feel worse. That just seems completely counterintuitive.
It does, but the execution is everything. The source talks about this concept of resistance. Basically, your brain has a built-in lie detector.
You keep us sane.
Exactly. It's constantly comparing new info against your current reality. And if an affirmation feels completely unrealistic, your brain will just reject it violently.
It's like if I'm having a terrible day, I've just been fired, and I look in the mirror and say, I am a resounding success radiating joy.
Your brain is going to look at the situation, at the pajamas, at the bank account, and just scream, "You are a liar."
And then I feel worse because now I'm a failure and a liar.
That is the mechanism. The source uses a heavier example. Imagine someone dealing with deep self-loathing. If they stand in front of a mirror and try to force the statement, "I love myself completely,"
Oof,
that
yeah.
creates this massive internal conflict. It's cognitive dissonance. The gap between their lived reality and that statement is just too wide to jump.
It's like stretching a rubber band too far. Eventually it snaps back and hits you in the face.
That's a great visual for it. The mind responds with disbelief, frustration, sometimes even shame.
And that's the toxic positivity trap right there, isn't it? Where we just plaster a smile over everything because we're not allowed to admit things are bad.
Precisely. The source is very clear. Affirmations are not about pretending problems don't exist. They're not delusion. If you say nothing ever affects me, you are lying to yourself.
That's suppression.
It's suppression, not affirmation. And when your brain rejects that lie, you actually end up reinforcing the negative belief. You've just proven to yourself that the positive one is false.
That's wild. You try to fix the rut and you end up digging it deeper because you feel like a fraud. So what's the fix? How do we bridge that gap?
You just use the magic word, bridge. The solution the source offers is about using bridge affirmations. It's a shift from the perfect end result to the process.
Bridge affirmations. I like that. You're building a bridge from where you are now to where you want to be instead of trying to teleport.
Exactly. You have to use language your mind can actually accept as true. So instead of saying, "I am fearless," which is an absolute, and let's be honest, probably a lie,
For sure.
the source suggests trying, "I am learning to face my fears."
Oh, wow. I feel the difference in that immediately. I am fearless feels like a command I'm failing at. I am learning feels factual. It acknowledges the effort.
It creates space for growth without denying the current struggle. It validates the effort. Here's another one. Instead of, "I am completely at peace," you could say.
When you're definitely not at peace.
Right. You could switch it to, "I am open to the possibility of finding peace."
I am open to the possibility. That is so much lower stakes. My brain doesn't fight that because I'm not claiming I'm there. I'm just saying I'm looking for the map.
Believable. That's the key word. Healthy affirmations have to acknowledge reality. The source also recommends using the present continuous tense, like, "I am becoming."
I am becoming instead of I am.
Yeah. It grounds the statement in the now, but it frames it as an action you're taking, not a state you've already achieved. It takes all the pressure off.
I am becoming. That's powerful. You don't have to be at the finish line. You just have to be on the track.
And that turns the affirmation into a support system instead of a measuring stick you use to beat yourself up.
Okay, I want to pivot a little here because the source material takes a turn I really did not see coming. We've been talking neuroscience, the vagus nerve,
Mm.
and then suddenly we are talking about witchcraft.
Yes. It's quite the pivot, isn't it? But it's fascinating because it just shows how universal these concepts are. Whether you look at it through a clinical lens or a spiritual one, the mechanics are surprisingly similar.
So how does that connect? Is it just a different vocabulary for the same thing?
In many ways, yes. In these practices, affirmations are used to set intention, to align will with action. When a practitioner writes an affirmation on a candle or uses it in spell work, they're doing a ritualized version of what we just discussed.
So the ritual itself, the candle, the writing, it's a way to anchor that thought in the physical world.
It's an external anchor, exactly. The source points out that even in a spiritual context, the power isn't described as magic alone in the, wave a wand sense. It's about repetition, symbolism, and anchoring that intention into your daily behavior.
It reinforces personal power.
It does. If you light a candle every morning and say, I am inviting abundance, you are priming your brain or your spirit to look for opportunities for abundance all day.
It's like a search filter. You're telling your brain, this is what we're looking for today.
And that connects the psychological to the spiritual. It's about conscious awareness. You stop living on autopilot. Whether you call it a spell or a cognitive reframe, the result is that you are taking the wheel of your own consciousness.
I love that. So let's say the listener is sold. They want to start doing this without feeling like a fraud. What does the how-to look like on a Tuesday morning?
The source gives a few really practical methods. The first is the classic, but it can be the most confronting. Speak them aloud in a mirror.
The mirror work, yeah, that can be intimidating. Staring into your own eyes is intense.
It's very vulnerable, but it adds this layer of connection and accountability. If that's too much, though, and for many people it is, the source suggests just writing them down.
In a journal.
A journal, a planner, a grimoire, if you're leaning that way. The physical act of writing engages a different part of the brain. It slows you down, it helps imprint the idea.
And placing them visually right, the sticky note on the monitor.
Yes, the bathroom mirror, the dashboard of your car. It's about constant, gentle reminders. But there is a golden rule here that the source emphasizes above everything else.
Let me guess. Go big or go home.
The exact opposite, actually. The rule is consistency matters more than intensity.
Oh, that is such a relief to hear.
Think about brushing your teeth. You don't do it for 2 hours once a month and expect good results, right? You do it for 2 minutes, twice a day, every day.
That's a great comparison.
Neuroplasticity is the same. You don't need to stand on a mountaintop and scream your affirmations until you're exhausted. A quiet, mumbled affirmation while you're brushing your teeth every morning is infinitely more effective than one giant session a month.
It's the drip, drip, drip of water that carves the canyon.
That's a perfect way to put it. Small, repeated actions over time yield massive structural change. And there's one more crucial point here, specifically for people recovering from burnout or trauma.
What's that?
Affirmations can help rebuild self-trust, but, and this is a big flashing neon but, they are a complement to, not a replacement for, therapy or medical care.
That is so important. You can't just affirm your way out of a clinical depression.
Right. They're a tool in the toolbox, but they aren't the whole workbench. They support the work you do in therapy, but they don't replace the doctor.
So when we look at this whole picture, we've moved pretty far from that live, laugh, love sign we started with.
We really have. We've moved from forcing happiness to choosing words that support growth. That's the fundamental shift. It's not decorative positivity. It's functional architectural restructuring.
And the beauty is you don't even have to believe it 100% right away.
Oh, you don't. And that's maybe the most liberating takeaway from all of this. You don't have to believe the affirmation fully yet. You just have to be willing to believe it's possible.
That's it.
Just be open to the possibility that I am learning to be confident or I am allowed to grow. If you can do that, the brain will start to do the rest of the work.
Just cracking the door open a tiny bit.
Just a crack. That's all you need to start.
I really love that. As we wrap up, I'm thinking about that closing quote from the source material. It really stuck with me.
Words matter, especially the ones you say to yourself.
It's so simple, but when you think about the neuroscience, the loops, the ruts, it's literally true. Your words are physically building your brain.
They are. Every day, with every thought, you are engaging in a construction project. You're either reinforcing old structures that don't serve you, or you are laying the foundation for something new.
So that is the question we want to leave you with today. If your thoughts are reshaping your brain every single day, whether you're aware of it or not, What exactly are you building right now?
And is it a place you actually want to live?
Something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next deep dives. Stay curious.